Okej, god morgon allihopa från ett regnigt Alabang. Jag är här med Victor Canon, Sensei, branschchefen för karate i Filippinerna, framförallt Kyokushin, IKO Nakamura. Thank you, Victor, for being here again.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
We're going to talk about your childhood and how you became who you are and a few different things on the way.
Oh, well,
I leave the ball in your court.
it's not a typical ideal childhood, you know. It's a, should I say, sad childhood of mine. And then what I can say is that first, when I was born, the midwife who took care of me told me that my parents are all dead. So I'm a product of a broken family, and I'm a son of a captain, a Spanish man, and he is a married man with his family in Manila. But he happened to spot a very young girl, and they had this illicit love affair, and I'm the product of it. And they were trying to hide, you know, to hide me and put me in some places where they cannot locate me. The midwife who gave birth to my mother took care of me, adopted me for a few years. And then he told me that when my mom was giving birth, the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck and I almost died. And then he also told me that my mother was trying to abort me when I was inside when I was inside the womb, and that when I was born I was so weak, I was malnourished. That's the reason why I was named Victor, meaning to say victorious. But incidentally, the midwife who's taking care of me doesn't have the best means to take care of me. He was relying on the money that my father, Captain Ramon Canon, was sending to her. And then when I was 6 years old, this Spanish man came, and he said he's my uncle. So from then on, I called him Tito Ramon. And then he took me from the midwife and brought me to a place called Jose Panganiban, Camarines Norte in Bicol. And I can feel that he's my father, you know. But he's very disciplinary, you know. He never expresses his love, his care for me as his son. But instead, he would hit me with his belt as a very, very disciplinary man. And I was having a hard time growing up. I have not seen my mom, even up to now. I have not felt the love and care, the embrace, whatever, or even the breastfeeding from mother. So I'm starting to grow up, you know, feeling sad, rebellious and all. But then again, I felt that I have this natural desire to learn martial arts and protect myself, because as a young child I was being bullied in the school, and I love to play knives, you know. I love to punch the banana trees, and especially when I am angry and I am sad.
All right. So when did you start your martial arts career? Was that when you came up to Manila, or you started it in the province?
I had this karate background in the province, but it's not a formal one. You know, I love to watch the movies and then play, you know, like James Bond, you know, by myself. I'm not allowed to go out the house and have toys. It's very, very difficult. sometimes I end up fighting with my classmates just to prove myself, because I am kind of short and small compared to other schoolmates of mine. And then I felt envious when I see my classmates being fetched by their parents, by the mother, with sandwiches and all. And I cannot, I don't know how it feels, you know what I mean? So they kept me inside the house, and they don't allow me to go out. I have no friends. So at night I would escape, you know, and I will go out and play in the plaza, but then they would lock the door, and then the following early morning they would hit me with a rattan. I stayed with Dolores with 6 children, and then my father provided for them. But there was a time when I wanted to run away, you know, because of the discipline of my father, and also with Dolores, the one who takes care of me. And the only way I can express myself is through punching the trees, you know, playing with my knives, and also singing. One time I won in a singing contest in Bicol. That was the time when my dad retired from being a harbor pilot, and then decided to come to Manila to his own family. But then I was left in Bicol. I was then first year high school. So I decided, with the prize that I had from that singing contest, I took a bus going to Manila because I need to find my father. I had 1 can of biscuit and a few cash in my hand, all by myself. I was looking for a place called Balik in Manila, in Sampaloc, to find my father. Then when I came to Manila, I saw the house. It's a big Spanish house. I met my 2 half-sisters, but they never treated me as a brother, and they treat me like a maid. And the school year is almost starting, and I know that they don't have any intention to send me to school. And so I started to run away. I rented, you know, a bed space. I have to work in order to live, to survive, in order to eat. I have to visit a friend in order to eat. I would take a jeep. I don't have money to pay. I would jump off the jeepney. It's a very, very tough. In the province, you can pick up some vegetables in the garden. Your neighbor will give you food, but in Manila, it's very difficult. I've experienced to eat banana Q for lunch, a boiled egg, and I would walk and I enrolled in National Teachers College, and self-supporting student. I studied in the evening and have to work during the day. My first job was to carry books from Recto. It's a bookbinding shop in Ascaraga in Avenida. That was my first job. And then I became a scoutmaster. I was sent by the school via scholarship to some leadership training, camp training for Boy Scout and Girl Scouts, first in Gulod sa Batulao in Batangas, JE Youth Camp in Tanay, Lake Caliraya Country Club in Laguna, and Villa Escudero in Chaong, Quezon. So those were my initial work, okay, and I was able to survive by myself, and it was really a tough time.
Så han hade alltså en svår uppväxt. visste inte egentligen vem hans pappa var. Började i provinsen, mobbade i skolan och ja, många av er kanske känner igen det där. Men han hade ju ingen finansiellt stöd utan fick kämpa sig fram i livet och tog sig upp som ung pojke till Manila då som huvudstad. Försökte söka upp sin pappa och familj och det gick inte speciellt bra. Och ilskan kom ju ut och slåss med bananträden. Ja, ni som såg min svarta tå vet, bananträden kan göra ganska ont ibland. Men han kämpade sig vidare i livet och det är många som kan lära sig av den här historien, men den är på engelska så det är kanske lite för svårt för en del blir det jättelätt för. Jag vill inte gå in på alla, eller översätta alla detaljer, men livet är inte alltid, eller man får de kort som delas ut. Då kan livet bli ganska tufft. All right, we're in Quezon province at the moment, I think.
Oh yeah. By the way, when I came to Manila as an outlet, I really wanted to do some exercises, and I was walking along Avenida in Santa Cruz, and I saw this Vilcat Karate Association, and I went up at the 5th floor and I inquired. I said, I want to learn karate, but I don't have money to pay. And then the owner, Vicente Tayo, just laughed and asked me if I know how to clean the floor, and I said yes. So okay, he said you can attend classes, your karate classes, and you don't have to pay, but you have to clean the dojo. And I said okay. However, I said if I win the tournament, I would give you the trophy as my payment. And I was then so very young. I was then about 12 to 13 years old. I started karate, training karate. But I was the youngest among the students, and it seems that the instructors loved me, liked me, you know. They teach me special techniques, skills, and they would bring me to shops and we eat, and sometimes after training we go out and bring me to some beer house.
Bad boys.
Yeah.
I'll just translate a few words.
Bad influence.
Bad influence.
And then I learned to fight, the real fight, you know, because of this kind of influence in the bars, you know. I've experienced my first fight, real fighting. But even in school, where I enrolled at National Teachers College, I always end up fighting. And with a fraternity, one of them I broke his arm. I throwed him judo because at that time already playing judo, and I injured one of my attacker. After a few years, somebody told me that my father died. I'm just here in Manila. My father is in Manila, retired. And he told, your father Ramon died already last year. And I said, well, I am sad, but I said he did his part to take care of me. He said he did not save money for my education. And so even up to now, I never visited his burial site in La Loma. I had a heavy heart. And even up to now, I never knew who my mother really was. I only learned last year. I'm almost 60 years old, you know. And it's only now, only last year that I learned that my mother is in the States. And I saw her picture. And I cried. Anyway, so when I was younger, I would try everything in order to survive. I work very hard. When I fight as if it is my life. I want to prove something. I'd always say, just give me a place to stand and I will conquer the world. I was fighting for my life. And my master, Vicente Tayo, gave me a chance to work for him as assistant karate instructor at Philippine College of Criminology for defensive tactics. Those who wanted to be a policeman, they have this course, self-defense, and I would be the assistant of Vicente Tayo. In one day there are 4 classes. We teach karate and judo. He would always throw me, and he would give me 10 pesos for every session. And I was so happy. If he gives me coffee and sandwich, I was so happy. Doing the things that I like most, martial arts, and at the same time earn a little from it. That's how I survive. In school, I learned nothing much about going to school, you know, because I'm so tired. Sometimes I sleep in the chair during classes. My body is so tired, and I would say that the teachers would give me a passing grade just because, you know, they pity me. They know my situation.
Well, I mean, life at that time in the Philippines was very hard because you had no support from the government.
That's right.
You had to survive by yourself. Det var så, han fick ju klara sig själv i stort sett hela uppväxten, och det är lite därför han hjälper de här fattiga barnen. De får träna gratis. Och kan de betala får de betala i träningsavgifter, men kan de inte betala, som han alltid säger, ta med era kompisar, har de inga pengar så får de fortfarande träna. Det har varit hans attityd hela livet. Och han åker runt på skolor. Jag har hjälpt till i några, men ja, han är glad om han får betalt för bensinen och lite mat fortfarande, för att det var folk som hjälpte honom när han var ung. Nu vill han ge tillbaks. Han är inte, vad ska vi säga, gniden, utan han vet hur det var när man bodde på gatan i stort sett. Well, you in the end you managed to turn everything around by hard work and dedication and discipline.
Well, there's a verse in the Bible that says, all things works together for good to those who love God. And all these trials, all these difficulties that I've experienced is somehow good for me. It helped me to be more independent, to become more strong as a person. You know, work hard, you know, as a person. It teaches me a lot of things. Same thing with karate. That's why we say karate is a way of life. And you have to experience pain in order to understand the real meaning of life. And it will make you even stronger if you only know how to persevere.
Som man säger, om man kämpar och jobbar för någonting man tror på sig själv, persevere, då kan man lyckas i livet. This is a very interesting point we have here, because you went from cleaning the dojo to the #1 in the Philippines.
Oh yes, I'm not ashamed of that thing. I would say that God has a plan. It's a calling. Shall I say calling? I've tried so many other things, but God called me for a purpose, and that is to be in karate, to be in martial arts, to teach the youth, and the discipline, the values that you will learn from karate. Even though without a parent, it is martial arts who teaches me discipline. It is God who teaches me to be more humble and to be grateful for everything that I have, especially at this point of time.
A lot of people misunderstand martial arts. They learn it over the course of training, but they think this is the most important. But it's actually this that is the most important.
Correct.
If you don't have the heart, the head, this one will never follow in the correct way.
Correct. It takes many years, and it's again karate, martial art is learning by doing. You really have to experience, go through it. You don't just memorize, but you really have to apply it. Actually.
And it's for the younger generation, for the up and coming, especially the less fortunate, who has the luxury to learn martial arts, learn karate, learn other arts. It's a way of life for us, it's a way of life for them, and it's a very good starting point in life. Because if you don't have discipline, you don't have the will, you don't have the perseverance, it will be very hard for you to succeed in life. I mean, you could play lotto and win a lotto ticket. That is luck.
Yes.
That is not persevering in life and in future, in families, in the values to your children, and in your case now to your grandchildren or grandchild. And it's something that it's a circle that never stops evolving.
That's right.
And you now as branch chief, I know we've had a pandemic and we had a lockdown, but I know you from different dojos and different training centers. I mean, you allow children to come in whether they can pay or not. You're not closing the door. Is that something that you really learned from your own experience when you were young?
That's right. My first instructor did not force me to pay, He welcomed me in the dojo, and I think that everybody should be given the chance to learn how to defend themselves, rich or poor. In our country, those who can afford to learn martial arts, ballet, musical instruments, are those who can afford. But unfortunately, those who belong to the low-income poverty line, cannot go to a dojo and learn karate. That's why they should be given equal experience, equal chance to learn self-defense. That's why when I started in Manila, I would gather all the street children and teach them karate. I even had feeding, little food for them, and I trained the street children to become martial artists. That would be the part 2 of our
Sure. We'll have
story.
a part 2 on this story. I'll just finish off a few words in Swedish. Ja, som man säger då med fattiga barn och gatubarn, och jag har ju tagit upp det i tidigare videos. Det är ju, jag har haft den lyxen i min filippinska karateresa och varit med en människa som tänker på individen först, inte på sig själv. Och det är ganska stort i just det här landet där vi inte har någon egentligen stöd från regeringen på våran nivå. Utan vi får betala våra hyror och vi får köpa våran utrustning och vi får göra det bästa av det vi har. Jag menar, i södra delarna när de håller på, då lindar vi tidningspapper och så kör vi tejp och det blir handskar. Så kan det vara. Det är därför ungdomar i Sverige är väldigt bortskämda, och ibland när jag ber gamla gym och folk jag känner i Sverige om trasiga handskar och allting. Det är sånt som vi slänger i Sverige. Här sätter vi oss framför en symaskin eller lim och så limmar vi ihop grejerna. Kan vi använda det i hur många år till som helst. Och de är lyckliga med det. Jag kommer ihåg att en av världens bästa boxare i historien kommer härifrån. Han började med tidningshandskar eller tidningshandskar, ja det kan man kalla det för. Tidningspapper runt händerna när han var liten. Man kan lyckas från vilken sida av myntet som helst. All right, Victor, we're going to make a part 2. words you want to end part 1 on to the Swedish viewers and the worldwide viewers? We're all over the place.
Well, I'd like to say that we have to know our purpose in life. We need to be more confident, more self-sufficient, and then also we need to learn how to help other people in any means. Sometimes we can spend our money, but it's always the best to share your care, your love, even though having nothing. Just teach them good values, discipline. Then you are doing your part in the world.
If you're good to others, good things will come to you.
That's it.
Thank you, Sensei, for this.
Thank you.
And now it's training time. He's going to beat me up. Have a good time, everybody.